The Senate has voted to defund NPR and PBS. Major funding cuts were approved as the Senate voted 51-48 to support a Trump administration proposal cutting $1.1 billion in funding for public broadcasting, affecting both networks over the next 2 years. Stations in smaller or rural communities, which rely heavily on federal funding, may face staff layoffs, service reductions, or even closure. Stations warn the cuts could reduce access to emergency alerts, educational content, and children's programming, especially for underserved populations. This is Senator Amy Klobuchar.
This is completely outrageous. Remember, this is money that was already decided on by a Republican House, a Democratic Senate. It was a bipartisan agreement. And if they can just start to go in there and take away these incredibly important funds, the sky's the limit. So that's my first point to our Republican colleagues. What are you doing? I guess you'll just rubber stamp anything Donald Trump wants. But the second one is, look at what this is for. Just as we've seen these weather disasters, including horrifically in Texas, but the fires in Arizona and the like, in many remote areas, or if in states like Florida with hurricane season upon us, they rely on a series of public broadcasting to get alerts out. And when it works well, when you actually have a system set up, it works well. This is not the time to cut back on public radio and public TV. And one thing people don't know, 2-to-1 on the percentage that comes from federal funding, 2-to-1, it's double for rural, the percentage, over what it is for urban and other stations.
Trump and his allies claim PBS and NPR promote left-wing propaganda. Media organizations have filed lawsuits alleging viewpoint discrimination. With fewer resources, public media may struggle to provide local journalism and indigenous or minority-centered programming, deepening existing media deserts. So should public broadcasting funding be preserved? Does cutting funding for NPR and PBS undermine democracy? Public broadcasting offers free, fact-based information and culturally rich content that commercial outlets often ignore. Defunding it risks silencing diverse voices, weakening public safety alerts, and stripping millions of Americans, especially children, of educational access. I grew up on PBS network, and as an adult, I do read and listen to NPR. Cutting funding for these networks undermines essential pillars of a healthy democracy. We need independent journalism. We need educational programming, and with that comes community. Now, you may not agree with the content. You may insist that they are actually pushing a left-wing agenda, but there are many that believe that they are being objective and fair. And most of the news that you get, you take with a grain of salt anyway. I read Fox News just as much as I read CNN. If you would like to be informed as much as you can, you should have a diverse group of opinions. NPR and PBS are just two of the bunch. It's your job to decipher what you choose to believe and what resonates along the lines of the most sound and logical. In a time of our deepest polarization, we need more trusted, nonpartisan media. Now, if you think NPR and PBS are past the line of no return, then you would agree with defunding them. I'm along the lines that this is a good resource to have, but to have additional opinions funded by the government, no matter which way they speak, which will always have some type of bias, I think is for the betterment of the public. Let me know your thoughts.